Hello everyone and welcome to Fast Track on Herald Global. I am Saimik Sen and joining us today Mr. Aidan Whytock. Aidan is a renowned actor who has worked in several international television series. Aidan, thank you so much for taking out this time for us. I would like to begin by asking you, how did this pandemic affect you personally and professionally?
Great question. Firstly, thank you for having me. Great question. I think the pandemic has affected everybody. I mean,
Sure.
the numbers in India were terrifying, so that was a very scary thing. How did it affect me personally? Well, we had to stop Mimi for a year. We were one scene away from finishing the film, and we had to stop everything. And it was just it was so disappointing because we all wanted to see the movie get over the finish line and go out into all the cinemas and into screens and just entertain everyone and make everyone feel a bit better. How did it affect me personally? Well, I'm going to become a father.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
I got engaged because, in lockdown, what do you do? So I did those things.
Sure.
Otherwise, yeah, the acting industry has taken a big hit, as we all know. But I left the city. I moved away from London. I moved into the countryside, a bit more fresh air. So that's ultimately been good for me. But it's been a scary wake-up call for everyone.
Yeah, true, definitely. How did you find, love for theater? How did it all begin for you, your journey?
Another great question. Okay, so how did I get into acting in theater? I have a stammer. So from a very young age, from 5 years old, I found it very difficult to speak and to be heard. So what my parents would do to help me overcome my stammer is they would get me to phone restaurants to make reservations for dinner. And the only way I could do it is if I spoke in a foreign accent.
Sure.
So there I was, 5, 6, 7 years old, and I was phoning restaurants and I was speaking as a Russian, going, the only way that I could do this is if I was to be a Russian or be an Indian or be an Irishman. And that's where I started to learn how to act. And from there, I fell into it. I got into theater at school. Again, the same thing. It was terrifying for me to be on stage because of my stammer. But if I put on an accent, if I was an American or if I was an Irishman or whatever it was, then I could be anybody I wanted to be. And it was liberating. And that's how I got into acting.
That's really very interesting. What made you explore the path of producing and directing?
So I enjoy acting. I love acting. But what I love more than that is filmmaking, telling a story. And I love being involved in a team. And one of my favorite things about filmmaking is you can't do it by yourself. You've got to surround talented people. And that's so much fun. And it's so satisfying. And I started having ideas for bigger stories going, well, how do we visually tell a story? How do we convey that, not just through acting, but through camera movement and light and soundscape? And how do we do that? And I used to be in a band, so making music was also something very art. And so from all of those elements, I started thinking, you know what, let's make our own stuff. Let's start telling the stories that we want to tell.
You have worked in several international television series and films, like, Safe House. So, how do you choose your script? Is there any particular thing that you see in a script before deciding to do it?
A very important part for me is the writing.
Okay.
Does it feel authentic? Does it feel genuine? Does it come across as real? That's a big part for me. Obviously, the story. I mean, that's first and foremost. Is it a story that is interesting? Do I want to see that movie? Do I want to watch that show? If so, yes. Okay, great. Let's deep dive into that. And then I have a look at the people involved. Are the people that I would like to work with? People that I'm going to enjoy spending 14 hours a day with for a prolonged period of time? And will I know that people enjoy the film afterwards? Yeah, great. Then let's do it.
Okay. So how did the film Mimi knock your door?
I had recently moved to the UK from my home, South Africa. And I got a call from my agent in LA saying, "Hi, we've got this audition for you. They've asked you to read for John for this movie Mimi." And I always fascinating that
Yes.
True stories always make the best stories, which is why Avengers did so well. So I got the call, I got the script, and I had a look, and I thought, this is a really compelling story. I love the fact that there's no bad guy and good guy. It's human. Everyone is at fault in every idea. And when that came, I thought, I'm definitely going to read for this. This looks like a lot of fun. And I've always wanted to work in India. So I thought, let's do this. Great.
So how was your experience shooting the film Mimi?
Shooting in India. Absolutely mad. It was brilliant. We got there for the first time just before Diwali. Yeah. And we were staying in Mumbai, and I decided to take myself for a walk. And I just walked around Mumbai for about 3 hours or so. And it's just a completely different world from London or from Cape Town or from LA. It's so different. The smells and the color and the energy and the vibrancy. And it's a very different world. So that was Mumbai, but we shot the movie up in Rajasthan, mostly in Mandawa and Jaipur. And I mean, Mandawa is just steeped in history. We were staying at the fort, which has now become Castle Mandawa. What a beautiful place. The architecture and the food. The food is incredible. Your food is amazing.
Thank you so much.
I ate paneer 4 times a day. My new favorite thing. Yeah.
So what about non-veg food? Have you experienced that as well?
Non-vegetarian.
Yeah. Tandoori.
Nope, I didn't go anywhere near it. No, I was told that my very weak Western stomach would not be able to handle the local Indian meat. So I went, all right, I'm just going to go vegetarian.
So what is the difference you experience in shooting for an indie film?
Firstly, Laxman, our director, he was just brilliant. The way that he worked, he was a lot more relaxed than a lot of the Hollywood films that I've done. Just because the pace of it was a little bit more relaxed and a bit more fluid and a bit more organic. And I really enjoyed the way that he worked. He's a very gentle soul, and he listens. Some directors don't do that. They don't necessarily listen to their actors. Some people work a little bit differently. But the way that Laxman works, I really enjoyed how in tune he was. He listened to our ideas. He engaged with them. He said no when he disagreed, which I respect. But when we had a valid point, he listened. And that was wonderful. And it was the same with Kriti and with Pankaj and Sai and Evelyn. It was a really great organic team. It was a little bit mad sometimes, where it was a bit like, okay, we're shooting on the side of a highway. It's not locked off, but it makes it real. And I appreciated the Wild West feeling of it. It was fun.
Okay. So coming to the theme of the movie, that is surrogacy. What are your takes on surrogacy?
My personal takes on surrogacy. I think it is a great way to solve a problem that a lot of people don't have control over.
Sure.
Provided it's done in a very healthy, ethical way. And this is partly what the movie explores, is this idea of where surrogacy was and where it's come to. The idea of surrogacy farms is horrific. And no woman should ever be put through that, ever. It doesn't matter where they are on the planet or how dire their circumstances, should never have to go through that. So if it's a good partnership, great. But if it's done badly, scary.
Okay. So tell us about your future projects. What are the things that we can look up to? Anything that is upcoming?
There is an upcoming project. It's a TV series called Sunrise, which is in pre-development at the moment. We'll see how that goes.
Sure.
That is playing in the world of vampires and Navy SEALs. So that's coming. And Warrior season 3, that's also on the way.
Okay. Yeah. That's pretty nice. So my last question to you, what would you like to tell the aspiring artists, especially in a difficult time like this during pandemic?
Great question. Your questions have been great, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
What would I tell an aspiring artist in a struggling time? I would tell them to have faith, to relax, this too shall pass, and to double down on what they love doing. If they can't find work, make their own stuff. Pick up a camera, pick up an iPhone, it's got a great camera on it, and start shooting stuff. Work with your friends who are in the same situation. Don't be alone. collaborate with your fellow creatives and start making your own stuff.
Thank you so much, Aidan. It was lovely talking to you, and we are
You
looking
too.
forward.
Pleasure.
Yes, and all the best for the upcoming movie Mimi. So I wish you all the best for that.
Thank you so much.